Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you so much for checking out Sledgehammer TV today. It is Friday, January the 12th, 2018, and you are here for the first part of your weekend wrestling update, and I am going to give you 3 reasons why you just might want to start watching Impact Wrestling, and we're going to go over those 3 reasons right here and right now on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, baby. We're talking about the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. So, let's do it. Impact.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much once again for joining me. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me, as always, is my little buddy, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Blue the Snowball, and we're going to talk a little Impact today. How about that? We haven't talked about any relevant Impact Wrestling news in months, because 2017 is most likely a year that Impact Wrestling would love to forget and love to put in the grave, just like Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor and countless others on the WWE roster. But 2018 has begun, and Impact Wrestling has kicked it off with some big changes that just might entice this guy to start watching the Owls show once again. And we're going to talk about all that here today. Thank you guys again for joining me. If you are new to the channel, make sure you join the club. Become part of the family right here at Sledgehammer TV. The best way to do that is to hit the subscribe button down below. Smash the thumbs up right next to it to tell me and the world that you enjoy everything that's happening right here on Sledgehammer TV. And then share this video with anybody else that you might think will enjoy some great wrestling content. Also, while you're down there clicking things, don't forget to leave me a comment. Say what's up. Let me know that you subscribed on this video. And check out our sponsor in the description box below, Clutch Chairs, our sponsor. All you got to do is click the link, go check it out, take a look at some of the WWE themed chairs and merchandise they have over there. One of the best and most important ways you can support this guy, this channel, and this show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. So let's get this one started. The 6-sided ring has long been debated as almost an eyesore for TNA and Impact Wrestling. It's one of the reasons why I believe most mainstream wrestling fans just didn't view them even as competition for the WWE. But once again, that seems to be a thing of the past, as the 6... That's not what we're looking at. We're looking for this picture. Happy Rusev Day, everybody. That was a boo-boo, but we're going to leave that because we love Rusev. Who cares? Take a look at this bad boy. You see it right here. Impact Wrestling has gone back to 4 sides, and that makes me excited. It actually was off-putting to me. I never truly enjoyed the 6-sided ring. I thought it was awkward. I thought it didn't give the wrestlers enough room to really do things. We saw some absolutely unique things if you watch the X Division, and some of the cruiserweight style wrestling actually lended itself very well to the 6 sides. They had more posts to go off, more ropes to hit, more directions in which they could run. I get it, but that's not wrestling to me. This is wrestling. This is what a wrestling fan tunes in to see. The squared circle. Not the octagonal circle, or the sextuplet circle, whatever you want to call it. This is what we want to see. This is the first huge step in making Impact Wrestling anything anymore. So let's hit the story. All of this news has been reported by Wrestling Inc. and Pro Wrestling Sheet, as usual, where we get most of our stuff from, but I kind of pick and chose some of the stuff and mashed it together into this one coverage story. Let's get into this right now. Like I said, the 6-sided ring is no more. Thank the Lord at Impact Wrestling. As the company revealed today, they will once again be using the traditional 4-sided ring. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Impact Wrestling tweeted a picture of the new ring with a caption saying, "See it here first," even though Taiji Ishimori posted one hours before showing something they left out. A giant Twitch logo. If you missed that, take a look at it. It's right there. A giant Twitch logo on the ring skirt seen in the photo right here. There is no official word on whether the two companies have struck a deal, but after reaching out to representatives on both sides, there is no information being let go, and Twitch refused to comment. So we'll see what that's about. I absolutely wouldn't be surprised if they are going to try to use Twitch as some sort of a platform to stream the shows, maybe do some sort of unique and different things like the WWE is trying to do with the Facebook Watch Show, the Mixed Match Challenge. But it'll be interesting to see what that is really all about. Like I said, no further news on that particular part of this development. But that is just the first reason why you might want to tune back in, because it's going to feel like real wrestling again. The second reason why is the two driving forces in this thing are new executive vice presidents of Impact Wrestling, Don Callis and Scott D'Amore. If you do not know who these guys are, let me enlighten you just a little bit. Don Callis debuted in the WWF as a character known as the Jackal, who was the leader of a faction called the Truth Commission. That was way back in like 1997. And it was a terrible angle. It was a terrible group. But Don Callis as the Jackal, he's just got this presence about him. And he commands your attention the way he speaks. He was very cryptic. Very, very 90s wrestling. And I actually liked him. I just really hated the Truth Commission. I thought he could have been a better manager for a better talent. And it really could have taken off. And he could have been something special. After that, in 1999, Don Callis debuted in ECW underneath the persona of Cyrus and was presented as the on-screen face of the network, which was supposed to be ECW's kayfabe TNN storyline, as they were having lots of problems with TNN back in the day, and they used Don Callis as this fictional figurehead so that they could say and do things to harm and take digs at the network, and it would look as if it was being directed at Don Callis. He was fantastic in that role. It didn't do the show any good. It didn't help them. But it definitely showed that this guy's got a great mind for professional wrestling. And that wouldn't be the end of Don Callis' career, as he would go on in 2003 to TNA for the first time, as he would kind of reprise his Cyrus role and was a management consultant for the TNA network and the TNA higher-ups. And it was very, very short-lived, and he became part of the backstage crew. And Don Callis has a great mind for the business. If you listen to him speak, he's an educated, well-educated in wrestling. And he's got a great, great mind for this sport. His partner, Scott D'Amore, I'm very familiar with him. He has been in the business for over 10 years before he was signed in 2003 to Total Nonstop Action Wrestling as a road agent, where he was taking notes and learning underneath the learning tree of the great American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, man. This is the kind of staff that they had at the time. And that's a great tree to sit under and grab some apples from. You know what I'm saying? Some apples of knowledge and take them big bites out of it. Seems to be why Scott D'Amore has a better finger on the pulse of what a wrestling fan wants. He was one of the people that was working with Matt Hardy on the whole Broken Universe stuff. And we got a story on that coming at you guys later on today in part 2 of the Wrestling Update. We'll talk about that later. And Scott D'Amore, to me, was very, very entertaining in his on-screen role as the coach for Team Canada, a faction that included Eric Young and Bobby Roode, amongst others. But that's not what this is really about. What this is about is the fact that these two guys are running the show. And they have taken the first big step by giving us back our traditional ring. And the second thing that they've done that is absolutely huge. So here's a little spoiler warning for you guys. If you do not want to know what happened at Impact Wrestling's TV tapings this week, this would be the time that you fast forward about 2 or 3 minutes and get to the other parts of this show. Or maybe just hold off until you watch it. It's going to be a couple of weeks before we probably see any of this stuff on television. But here you go. You got 3 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. The first huge surprise from Don Callis and Scott D'Amore's Impact Wrestling regime involves a recently released WWE Superstar. And in case you haven't heard, that's why I'm here. Austin Aries made a surprise debut at this week's set of Impact Wrestling tapings, but it gets even better from there. Let's check this one out. Ex-WWE, NXT, and Cruiserweight Division star Austin Aries made his return to Impact Wrestling on Wednesday evening in Orlando, Florida, by confronting Global Champion Eli Drake. Dummy, yeah. Actually, Eli Drake would end up being the dummy in this situation. Austin Aries was then attacked by Chris Adonis, also known to us wrestling fans as Chris Masters from his time in the WWE, and an impromptu matchup began. Much to the surprise of the crowd, Austin Aries, my man, defeated Eli Drake to win the Impact Wrestling Global Championship. That is huge. That is huge, huge news. There is a huge fan base for Austin Aries. Have I said the word huge enough in this episode yet? Just throwing that out there. But he's got a great, great fan base. People who know of him from his first tenure in TNA are certainly going to tune in, especially since they finally, for the first time in years, at least in my opinion, have a legit World Heavyweight Champion in Austin Aries. And the talent pool over there is starting to grow a little bit better, and we are probably going to see an influx of new and unknown stars that will do leaps and bounds better than they were expected if they get in the ring with a guy the likes of Austin Aries. Let's go over what Austin Aries is all about just for this one quick second. Austin Aries is now a 2-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion, as the Global Championship was, or is, what was the TNA Heavyweight Championship. So this is his second time holding that belt and its lineage. He's also a 6-time X Division Champion and a TNA World Tag Team Champion with his partner, the glorious Bobby Roode. Hang on, don't fall down, Seth. I'm sorry. Shouldn't have touched you. That is his stuff from TNA. He is also well known as a 2-time Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion and Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions with Roderick Strong, another WWE superstar right now, killing it in NXT. WWE had Austin Aries. This guy is decorated in gold. He's got great camera presence. His speaking ability is almost unmatched. He proved that when they stuck him on commentary and he shut the rest of the table down and made everybody else look inadequate next to the way he analyzed the matches and his sarcastic quips. This is a guy you want to have as the face of your company, as the face of at least the Cruiserweight brand. But they didn't even see value enough in him to do that. They didn't give him the win over Neville. They didn't transition him there, and they made him lose to Enzo Amore. I don't blame the guy for leaving. And this is one of the things I love the most. This is an actual surprise. Nobody expected this news to happen. There was no talks or rumors or anything leaked by either party. It just happened. It happened, it's done, and now we are being made privy to the happenings of what happened in TNA. Now, I know at the same time that I'm happy it's a surprise, it's kind of ruined because, it hasn't aired yet. But when you get that feeling, when you read that news article and you see that picture, and it's just, you get that same feeling. That feeling you had when Chris Jericho showed up on Monday Night Raw for the first time. It's just, you know that wrestling is still special. Wrestling can still be magical, and there is still lots of dealings to be done, as Impact Wrestling does not seem to be going away quietly and are going to make one last run for their money. And they are definitely looking to stack the deck, because getting this guy is one thing, but there are reports by the man, Dave Meltzer. Let's go back to the main layout here. Dave Meltzer mentioned on Monday's edition of the Wrestling Observer radio show that former WWE champion Rey Mysterio could finally be making his Impact Wrestling debut. According to Meltzer, a deal between the sides is ongoing, and neither of the two have agreed to any of its terms. Rumors about Rey Mysterio talking with the promotion dates back to the summer. We've been hearing about where he's going, where he might end up. He was in Lucha Underground for a blip. There were heavy rumors he was going to be back in the WWE for SummerSlam time. None of that came to fruition. The company is trying to get Mysterio signed for the tapings this week in Orlando, Florida at Universal Studios, which I just talked to you about, and as they had Austin Aries as the big debut, obviously that did not happen. Rey Mysterio made it clear in an interview with ESPN back in December that he is not currently signed to any exclusive deal with any promotion, and that's the beautiful situation that he finds himself in right now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We got the Royal Rumble coming up, and I don't think seeing Rey Mysterio in the Royal Rumble is going to make anybody happy, especially since his last appearance didn't go over too well due to the fact that the WWE screwed over Daniel Bryan. So, honestly, if I were in Rey Mysterio's shoes, maybe I would go to Impact Wrestling. You might be able to demand more as far as his personal schedule and how much he's going to work and what stories he might have to take part in. Where in the WWE, they're going to just want him to go right back full gear. Probably relegate him to 205 Live to try to get that show finally on the map. But that's not going to happen. Absolutely not. I really don't see Rey Mysterio showing up in TNA. I don't want to call it TNA. Showing up in Impact Wrestling. I think that the WWE will outbid them no matter what they put on the table. And, the man's got a family. The man wants to make money just like the rest of us. So he's going to go where the cash is going to flow. So we'll see where Rey Mysterio ends up. But Impact Wrestling making a big push, and who wouldn't want to see Rey Mysterio versus Austin Aries for the Global Wrestling Championship? Why not? As long as Austin Aries wins and they don't go the route of WWE and give the belt to a returning, somewhat part-time legend in the business. Let's get Austin Aries over. Let's bring people in to make him the greatest champion Impact Wrestling has ever seen. It will be great, and it can get this company back where it was about 6, maybe 7 years ago when it was still pretty good. It wasn't great, but it was good enough to watch. It was great back in 2007, 2008 even, and earlier than that. AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Samoa Joe. These were the guys that lit it up on a daily basis in TNA, Impact Wrestling back then. That's when it was great. We can have a return to that. It already has a TV deal. Let's take what you have, accentuate the positives, and you hide all of your negatives. Don't try to be the WWE. Be something different. Showcase the people we want to see. Get back Damian Sandow. Call him whatever you want. Aaron Rex. Who cares what you want to call him? Do it. Daniel Bryan walks away. Grab him. Impact Wrestling could be a major player if they continue to take these steps in another right direction. Those are the 3 main reasons why you need to keep your eyes on what's going on in Impact Wrestling. You got Austin Aries as the Global Wrestling Champion. Out of nowhere. You got them going back to the 4 sides, and you have the possibilities of wrestlers coming back. Guys like Rey Mysterio showing up. Who knows what's going to happen over there. Few minor notes as far as the TNA tapings go. Tyrus. You all remember Tyrus. Tyrus returned to Impact Wrestling on that very same night in the television tapings in Orlando. The former Brodus Clay reunited with EC3 and faced the team of Matt Sydal, which is Evan Bourne, and Johnny Impact, also known as John Morrison. Tyrus debuted for TNA in 2014, and after a four-year run with the WWE, and after which he left Impact Wrestling in late August, releasing a video saying that he quit because he was not being treated right. So that speaks volumes to me. This guy walked away from this company because they treated him like shit, and now that regime is gone. D'Amore and Callis are in charge, and he's going to give them another chance. Brodus Clay, another in a long line of WWE former superstars that did not get pushed properly. You know, they had him all set up to be debuted as the next big monster. Had all these vignettes that looked creepy with some awesome heavy metal music behind it. And then he comes out as a funk dancing dinosaur. What? Now, I'm alright with the fact that the Funkadactyls came with that package. That was the best thing about the whole thing. I didn't like the little one, but I always thought Naomi was great. Brodus Clay, from that point on, was a joke. He wasn't taken seriously. He was treated like shit. And that's why he left the WWE. Subsequently, he was leaving TNA because he felt the same exact way. But now he's back. He's paired up with his buddy EC3, which I find very odd. EC3 has been reported to be in dealings with the WWE right now. That doesn't mean he's going to be around. You know, they're doing their tapings. Maybe he's just fulfilling his obligations, and then he's going to come up and do his thing. We'll have to wait and see, but that was interesting. And one last little nugget of information. Former Lucha Underground Gift of the Gods champion Brian Cage also made his debut on the very same television tapings in Orlando. Brian Cage is an absolute fucking beast. He is scary. He's like a modern day Scott Steiner. The guy's got muscles on his muscles. He's got veins where there shouldn't be veins. It's just, he's a sick freak. And he's very gifted in the ring. Gift of the Gods champion. From what I saw of Lucha Underground early in Season 3, I had not been able to watch the second half of the season. And I know I'm missing all the good stuff. I know. You don't got to tell me. I'm going to try to go back and watch it at some point just for my personal self. But Brian Cage is a player. He's got a great look. And he's going to be something to watch in TNA. So essentially, Brodus Clay, you know, Tyrus, not really a must-see entity. But that depends on what he does. But there you go. You got 4 now. 4 reasons why you might want to check out TNA. The ring is back. Austin Aries is the champ. You don't know who might be showing up from week to week. And you got a guy like Brian Cage, who could very well be one of the future stars of that company. If Callis and D'Amore are careful and they book properly and they give people what we want. The roster down there, full of ex-WWE talent and indie superstars. If you look at it right now, you don't even know what you want. Because half of these people are unproven. The other half are B players, maybe even C players on a WWE card. Eddie Edwards, you know, guys like EC3, they're not main event WWE level. But this is a great place for them to hone their craft and become WWE level. We'll have to see what happens. Very good episode today. This has been an Impact Central episode. We don't get to do very much. I'm excited. I'm excited about the future for this company. Just being out of that 6 sides alone makes me want to tune in right now and see. Because that's wrestling. The 6 sides, it's actually more damaging to the performers. The ring does not have as much give as the 4 corners do. It's more set like a trampoline. The addition of the structural beams to keep that thing from collapsing makes the ring much less forgiving. Which is why you have a lot of guys getting hurt there. Which is why you had Hogan and Bischoff come in the mid-2000s and say, oh, hell no, we're changing this back to the old ring because guys like me and Booker and Nash and Flair, we can't bump on that. We're going to break something. We're going to break a hip. We're already old. Some of us already have fake hips. I'm going off on me. So that's it. That's everything I got on Impact Wrestling. And I think I'm going to start watching. I don't know if we're going to start reviewing. I don't think it's going to be at that level yet. But if anything happens, you can be sure that this guy right here is going to bring it to you right here on Sledgehammer TV. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is my little buddy, my best pal, and the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Blue the Snowball. This has been the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe before you leave this screen. That is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. We'll see you guys next time. Love you. As always, rock and roll.